Howdy, y'all. Welcome to another episode of The Beginner's Guide to Cryptocurrency. I'm your host, Crypto Carson. I'm so excited to be here today. Thank you so much for joining me. And what we're going to be discussing today is the MyEtherWallet account. This is a must-have wallet for anybody interested in getting into the ICO markets. And the reason is that this is ERC20 compatible. And all that means is that you're able to store other coins aside from Ether on this wallet. All right. There's a number of wallets out there that will allow you to have your Ether, but most of them will not allow you to store other tokens on there, such as, for instance, Coinbase. We talked about that in the last video. It's a great place to start, but you're not going to be able to invest in ICOs using that wallet because they will not hold those tokens for you. So you can send your money off to someplace, but you won't have anything in return. So if you want to invest in ICOs, which there's humongous upside available for doing so, then you're going to need either this wallet or there's a few other ones out there that are ERC20 compatible, but they will require you to download the entire blockchain, which takes sometimes days or even longer, depending upon the capacity of your computer and the speed and functionality and so forth, and the speed of your internet and all that. And it will also take up a huge amount of room on your hard drive. Most people aren't so keen on that idea, so this is the very best option, not only because you don't have to download the entire blockchain, but because it's just a kick-ass wallet anyway. It's great. It functions fantastic, and it's very secure. Now, to open up your Ether wallet, it's very simple. We're just going to enter a password. And of course, as I always recommend, go over here to Dashlane or whatever service you like the best, doesn't really matter which, and create for yourself a randomized password. You do not want to use the same password like your birthday or your girlfriend's last name or anything like that on your for your passwords. You want to use a randomized password, and something above 20 characters is what I like to use. I think they say anything above 12 is very safe, but I like to go very, very safe. So you find yourself a password, you generate it there, you copy that sucker down, and before you even input it into this field here to create your wallet, I gotta recommend this. You go over here to a template of some kind. This is one I've created. I'll make it available to you. Just drop your email address into the box there and sign up for our newsletter, and we'll get you hooked up with not only this tool, but a host of other ones that we have coming out. And we'll also get you on the list to be the first to hear the podcast that we've got. We're going to be interviewing a lot of the experts in the cryptocurrency field and doing just a lot of cool things and getting you out some other free stuff as well. But this, as you can see, I've already started to input here into the fields. On my personal template that I have about 50 entries in here, but as you can see, there's none on this one. And so this is fresh and brand new for you. So you have the instrument name down here, the platform that it's going to be on. Some of these are not going to be relevant for every single entry that you have, but it's good to have all of these fields available to you, such as the two-factor authentication secret key, receive address, private key, public key, secret PIN, password. There's a lot of other ones on here as well, a passphrase. You're going to be able to also input, let's just say, for instance, how much Ether. Let's say you bought 100 Ether today. The price, I think the going rate is about 302 today, somewhere thereabouts. And so it'll automatically populate all this stuff for you. And then as time goes on, when the market value increases, let's just say in a couple of years it's worth 1,500, which I don't see to be too far-fetched at all. You're going to see a 396% increase. That's just a guesstimate right there. I think that in a very short time we'll see it go up to 500, but that is neither here nor there. That's for another video. And so you'll have this tool available to you that will keep a record of all of these bits of information that are very important, as well as the capability for you to see at a glance what your profits and losses are, and it will calculate all of this on the total of your accounts too. So if you've got say 50 different coins that you own, then you'll be able to find at a glance where you're sitting as far as your portfolio is concerned. So right now we're going to plop this password in here real quick. Let's just take a look real quick to make sure that it is the correct password. So we go over here and it is absolutely correct. Yep. All right. So we're going to jump over here now and plug it into this section here. Let's take a look once again, make sure that it's the same one that we're working with. And we can see that it is very quickly. So we click on create that wallet. Now, what's going to come up on this next screen is your Keystore file. Very important that you save this. So we'll click this button and download this. You don't want to click on it directly. You want to click over here on the options and show it in a folder. That way you can save it. All right. So here it is down here in your downloads files. And you want to take this and save it to a secure location. I would recommend somewhere not on your hard drive of your computer, perhaps in a USB drive or a SD card or something like that, where you can take it with you without taking your entire computer. And not only that, but it's more secure if it is not on the hard drive of your computer. One extra layer of protection between you and those nasty, nefarious hackers out there that want to steal your stuff. There is even a little tiny bit of Ether or some of these tokens right now could very well be worth a significant amount of money in the very near-term future. So you want to keep this as secure and safe as possible. All right. So once you've downloaded that file, you click I understand and continue. It's going to bring up for you this next screen where you get your private key. Another bit of very crucial information. You're going to want to take that and plug it in right over here to the private key section right there. Bam. Private key. This is what you're going to use to perform any actions whatsoever on MyEtherWallet. You're going to need that for every single action that you take. So you need this in a handy place. Whenever you go to access MyEtherWallet, when you get on your computer, you're going to want to have access to this so that you can copy and paste it as many times as you need to perform the actions that you need to on here, okay? Once you have plugged that into your Excel spreadsheet to save it, then you print out this document here. And this is called your paper wallet. The reason is that you can print this out and from anywhere in the world, even if you were to lose your computer and lose everything else, you could take this little tiny piece of paper and either scan this to get into your address, your EtherWallet, or you could just type in your private key and you could get in that way as well. And of course, this is your address where you can send Ether to or have people send Ether to you as well. And it's going to have this little icon right there, which is specific to you. So if you were to ever try and log into your account and you see a something that looks different than that, say if it was a different color or a different design, then you would know that you are in the wrong place and get the heck out of there. So you want to save that stuff right there. All right. And then we'll go over here, and once you've done all of that, then we save your address. And all that means is that they are now reserving for you your own private address, the one they just showed you right there. So as I mentioned earlier, you're going to use that same private key to perform every action. So right here, once I went into the access my wallet. You want to view your wallet information, or even if you want to send anything or whatever actions you perform, you're going to need this private key. Okay. So for the time being, let's just go take a view of your wallet information real quick. So we're going to go over here and we're going to paste that in there real quick. Now, just as a quick little, to showcase this, even if you were to have one digit wrong in your private key, it would not even open up this unlock section there. So if that unlocks, you know you've done everything correctly. And bam, there you go. We have successfully decrypted your wallet. And here's going to be your account address over here as well. So we're going to want to copy that and plop it in here into the right section. There you go. So now you've got your address saved for yourself. You can see here that there is no balance. Of course, we just opened this, so there is none. And you can easily go into your Coinbase account, which you opened up in the last video, and you can send yourself some Ether to this address. I have to indicate that you should never send Bitcoin to your Ether address. You should never send Litecoin to your Ether address. You should never send Ether to either one of those, or vice versa. Any which way you do it, you need to send Ether to an Ether address and Bitcoin to a Bitcoin address. And the same is true for any cryptocurrency that you ever utilize ever, because they don't recognize each other, let's just say. And so if you send it to the wrong place, you're literally probably sending it into outer space, and it won't arrive at your destination, but it will likely be gone from your wallet. So you don't ever want to do that. You want to make sure that you're sending Ether to an Ether address, okay? So that is how you fund this account, is by going into some other account that you have, in this case Coinbase, since we've already opened one of those up, and we're going to send from Coinbase over to this address your Ether, whatever allotment you have. And once you do so, you are set and ready to start investing in ICOs. Now, this little section right here, token balances, is where you're going to see which ICOs you've invested in and how many tokens you own on each one. Okay, so right now, we obviously don't own any. We just opened this up. But I'll show you this real quick, that there is a lot of different tokens that are available to be stored on MyEtherWallet. Okay, so these are just some of them. And should you come into should you invest in an ICO that doesn't automatically populate, then you're going to want to add a custom token. And it's going to bring up these three fields for you. You're going to have to input an address that looks almost identical, other than the characters being different, than your own address right there. Okay, so it's going to look much like that. So we'll just actually put that in there. It's not going to obviously send it to you because there's nothing there. But and then you're going to see like this, for instance, DCN. That's for Dentacoin. I just got some of that today. And then there's Digicoin and some of these other ones in there. And so you would just, let's just say that we put in Dentacoin, DCN, and then the decimals I believe they used for that was 0. It can go up to 18, I've seen on some of these. So anyway, you're going to input that information and then click save. Obviously, none of this is correct, so I'm not going to save this right now, but that is the way that you upload or you load your tokens onto your MyEtherWallet account. And you'll see them there for you. Once you have done that, they will always populate for you whenever you open your account. It's pretty cool. Now, one thing I will mention, this is how to send your Ether to one of those ICOs. You're going to need your private key. Control-C, copy. Go over here. Private key is what you want to use. Control-V. You can actually use any of these, but this is by far the easiest for you to retrieve. And so you plug that in there and you unlock it. And then if you were wanting to send this to an ICO, you would most likely, most of the time, you're going to have to first input your address, your account address, into a field on their website so that they know that you are going to be sending them a contribution to their ICO. Once you've done that, then you're going to open up this tab here, Send Ether, and you're going to input their address for their smart contract, essentially. And you are going to input the amount and send whatever amount you'd like, or you can send the entire balance. And you have to input a gas limit. This is automatically always going to populate at 21,000. However, on most ICOs that I've contributed to, it has to be above 200,000, 200,000 or above, I should say. And so, which doesn't really equate to a whole lot in dollars. It's like 40 cents, maybe. Sometimes if they ask for, say, 350,000 gas limit, then you may be $1.50 or something. Not a whole lot, but essentially all that a gas limit is how much you're willing to spend to get your transaction processed. And the more you're willing to spend, the closer to the front of the line you're going to be, okay, for lack of a better description. So you're essentially going to it'll get processed much quicker. And so these ICOs, they oftentimes will mandate that you use a certain gas limit, or they won't even accept your transaction, at which point your Ether would be returned to you. Say you sent 1 Ether over to a Denta coin, and you put a gas limit of I think like 21,000 if you didn't change it. I don't think that transaction would go through because they mandated that 200,000 was the gas limit. So if that were to take place, then your Ether, that 1 Ether, would be returned to you minus whatever fee was assessed for processing the transaction, because the miners out there, the people that are actually processing this, they still had to perform that transaction. So they still deserve to get their payment. Whether or not you followed the instructions in order to get it sent properly, that's irrelevant. That doesn't concern them at all. They get paid their small transaction fee of, say, 40 cents or whatever it is, and then they'll return to you the rest of it if the transaction is declined for any reason whatsoever. And there are various reasons for that, which we'll go into in future videos, of course. Now, sometimes some of these ICOs will also require that you input a certain amount of data. It may or may not be this length, but it will be a string of characters that seem to be quite random, much like these addresses here. So it'll just be an extra layer of authentication that you, in fact, do want to contribute to the ICO. All right, and then you're going to click Generate Transaction. Of course, does nothing for us presently because we haven't input that. I will tell you this as well. These 2 little links right here are extremely valuable to you when you start to invest in some of these ICOs, because what it will do is open up for you some of these. It'll open up and show you the tokens that you have contributed to. And so you'll be able to derive all the information that we saw down here in the custom token section, where you input this information. You'll be able to find that information. If it's not clearly visible on the website that you're contributing to, then you'll be able to find it here. Okay? So keep that in mind as well. That pretty much wraps it up. I know that was rather lengthy, a little longer than I usually like to go, but there's a lot of information here. Mainly the tabs that you're going to be using here are this one here, viewing your wallet information, which is where you're going to see identified all the different tokens that you have available to you, or that you've contributed to, I should say. And then you can check transaction statuses on this tab here. That's very useful for you as well. And then over here, sending your Ether or tokens to various locations. All right. So if there's anything that I didn't cover that you guys have questions on, please let me know. I'll be happy to either respond to you personally or cut another video and inform you as to how to navigate this a little bit more easily if you need any further information. And if there's any questions that you have that are aside from this that you just want to know about, let me know about that too. I'll be sure to put it in the queue so that we'll be cutting more videos on that. And I think that's it, my friends. Thanks again for joining me. Rock and roll. Have an awesome day, and we'll see you on the next video. All right? Thanks again. Take care.